So I'm back in the carving corner. Today we're going to carve a little Farmer Gnome that looks like this. So sharpen those chisels. Let's go! Okay, to carve this project we're going to start with our 3/4 inch thick basswood, cut down to 6 inches. And doing the rough out, I've got the number 7 25 millimeter, and we're going for that classic torpedo shape. And we just want to keep working this down. You could put this on the bandsaw, but for the amount of time that it takes to do this, plus the bandsaw in my case is out in the cold. So this is going to be the cap of the gnome. And just kind of taking off all these edges. Flip it around. Start on this edge. And just going to keep working at it. As I get a little bit lower down, I want to make sure that I've got some wood to carve, so I don't want to take as much off as I get lower. As you can see, okay, now I'm just using a smaller gouge to kind of clean it up a little bit. Take some of those high spots down. Kind of shape it up a little. Now for the tip, I've got it about like that, and the base is about like that. So what I'm going to do is to go ahead and do the top of the cap. And you just kind of want the peak of the cap. Like that. Kind of dull the tip of it. You don't want him to become a weapon. So here's what he's looking like so far. Now for the cap, first thing you want to do is, before I even draw the cap, is let's just divide this in half so we know what we're doing with respect to the eyes and the nose and all that good stuff. So for the cap, you just want to start with the front. I'm going to turn it to its side. I want the cap to kind of swoop down a little bit in the back, like that. Okay. And to take that out, let's see here, I'm going to use the old 45. Again, just check out the description. You can see the Flexcut tools that I'm using. And for this, we're just going to part it out right along that line. like that. Just kind of follow it around, flip the wood. About like that. Now this bench, you've probably seen this, but this is just a workmate, and it's got this little piece tacked in here that I kind of carve against, or I can carve against this. Alright, so let's clean that up a little bit. So I'm going to go to this gouge. Any number of ways you can do this. You can do a stop cut in here, like this. Just kind of roll the blade. Do a little stop cut. Like that. And we're just going to carve right up against that. Don't want to take a lot of material out. About like that. So a lot of carving is really just setting up different levels that cascade down. So for example, this is the top level, then you kind of go into the nose, that's a level, here's a level, right here at the bottom of the mustache, here's another level, and there's the hand. So each one of these, it's like a waterfall, kind of cascades down. And that's how I think of the carvings, is what's going to be up top, what's next, different levels. And it's kind of like a waterfall. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to put, eyes are going to go here. And how about the nose, something like that. Kind of looking at that line that we drew for the midpoint. And I'm just going to rough the edge of the beard and mustache like that. Just a rough deal. And there's the bottom of the mustache. And now for the hairline at the back, I'm going to have it kind of come down like this. And back up. And like that. So with that cap being low, like that, we've got a little less work to do in here with the hairline. A little bit of a cheater step. And then his hands are going to go here, right? Mittens. Something like this. A little bit like that. And then down here, he's got to have shoes on. What farmer doesn't have shoes? This isn't like a Santa, you know, with a big robe. He's got to have some shoes. And I'm just going to do a reference line down the middle in the back here. Alright. Looking for my 70-degree gouge, which is this one. And we're just going to get in there. Just do a little, taking some material out at the bottom of the nose, like that. Other side of the eye, like that. And I'm going to grab that gouge. I'm going to do a little stop cut there, a little stop cut there, carve up into that. Do another stop cut. I'm going to get that 70-degree V gouge and go a little deeper, like that. Go back to that. spread that out. Do a little stop cut under the nose. About like this. Oh, that's not too straight. Let's get it better. There we go. Like that. Another stop cut. I'm trying to get a little more depth in here because when I carve out the nose, I'm going to be losing a little bit of material up in here. You'll see what I mean. So he's got that, he looks like one of those Easter Island statues at this point. We're going to give him a little more character than that though. Just going to go, kind of going for the bridge of the nose, so I'm going to go, should do a stop cut up here just to make sure it doesn't rip it all out. There we go. Get that material out of there. Okay. You can see my eye's a little short on this side. So two things I can do. I'm going to go in here, keep my hand out of the way, and I'm going to angle that just a little bit, kind of shape that where I want it. So this is the time to get some symmetry. If it doesn't look right, it's not going to carve out just right. Clean that up too just a little bit. There we go. Looking for that symmetry, I need this to go a little bit deeper. Actually, that's pretty good right there. Alright. I got enough depth there. I think I can carve the nose, so let's do that. So I'm going to wiggle this in. Just a little bit of pressure, not a lot. Angle it right up to the top. I'm going to do this at an angle too. Take off just a little bit like that. Same deal. Wiggle that in there. You don't want to go right through it. And right up to the top. Like that. Like that. Clean him up. Let's put some little notches on the end of the nose right there. Give that a little more character. Clean it up. Good deal. Alright. Take that off just a little. Okay. Let's put that mustache back in there. Something like this is where it was. Alright. I'm going to get that 70-degree gouge again. And I'm just going to follow that line above the mustache. I'm using that stop right there to kind of give me a little carving leverage. And I'm going to go up on this side. I got a little too low on that cheek, but I can correct that. Got a little bit too low here, so let's take that little bit off there. Try to even that up. Okay. It's not too bad. Now in this case I'm going to use my knife, and I'm just going to give that a little more of a depth like that. I carve right up on the side, the forehead. Take that out. Take that out. That's still a little high, but I think I can take care of that later. Alright, so let's go back to that 70 degree. Carve underneath that mustache. About like that. About like that. Now in that kit, I've got that Flexcut set that comes. It's got this little gouge, and you can use this as a kind of handy stop cut maker, which is what I'm going to do right here. Just go underneath that mustache like that. Taking that gouge that looks like that, little one, and we're just going to create that next level like I was talking about. Perfect. Okay. And how about we go with the 45? Take that beard out. Just follow that line. I tend to go a little bit south, a little bit below that line. I'm just going to follow it right up. Same thing here. Take that line, follow it right up. Like that. Flip it around. Let's get that. Okay. And I'm going to take that trusty knife and I'm just going to follow that edge that we just did. Just on the lower side, like that. And I'm going to take the bigger gouge, the wider one. Just kind of take some of this material out at an angle underneath that beard. Like that. Alright. It's starting to come to life a little bit. Just want to get a nice uniform depth of material taken out there. Not bad. Okay, that looks good. Excellent. Get my pencil. Let's draw that hand back in there. Oops. Something like that. You know, like this. A little bit of a cuff. Like that. Now, there's several ways you can do this. You could even use this flat gouge, you know, over here, and just kind of work that in. Or you could use the 45. I think I'll use the 45 and just go a little bit below that line I just drew. Just going to follow it right on through. that 70 degree. I could go up or down with it and follow that edge of the cuff like that. Good. And I'm going to use this as kind of like a stop cut, this gouge. Go back here. Excellent. Creating that next level. Sort of that cascading effect. You know, where you have the head, the nose, mustache, beard. Got my last level right here. And this technique of creating levels applies to every other carving that I do. Every Santa, all those guys, they get the same effect. So if you can do it with this, you can do it on a 8-inch piece of wood, 12-inch piece of wood. If you get the right kind of tools, you could do it all the way up to a log, I guess. You know, just create the same effect. It's a little harder to get down here to get some of this wood out to even it up, but we can do it. Okay, just gonna draw that line a little bit. I'm gonna clean up where his hands are too. So I'm going to do a little stop cut there, flip it around. Kind of push that in. Oops. Another stop cut. Just want to use a light touch. Because you don't want to run that chisel so hard that it takes his hands off. Okay. I'm going to go at an angle there, just take a little chunk out, kind of form that hand up a little bit. Good. All right. Not bad. Just kind of form it up as you go along. If you see something that doesn't look right, that beard needs a little work. Flatten that out. Good. Beard was a little high right here. Okay, go back to that 70-degree gouge. I'm just going to put a line right down. Top of the shoe. So follow that line. Same thing over here. Bit of a stop cut. I'm using that gouge like that. Take the edge of the shoe like that. Let's get the top of the shoe. Starting to look like somebody. piece right there. Nice. Alright. So let's work on the suspenders a little bit. What I want them to do is to come down like this. Like that. Kind of like that. Back to the old 70-degree gouge. I'm just going to follow those lines. Straight up. Straight up. And get the top of it. I'm going to take that knife and do a little stop cut like that. Because all that's going to come out. Maybe I'll just do a little stop cut over here too. Like that. Like that. Go in here with that flat gouge and ease. Just kind of coax this piece of wood out. Same thing. Like that. Same thing on that side. These are pretty easy projects to work with, and you know, if you get it wrong, just throw it out. Make a little bit of firewood, it's alright. It's small enough to where you can start over, and you just kind of get a feel for how the knives are going to work. You know, and how hard you need to push. And that's basically what you're doing, is you're training your mind to know how hard to push, when to hold back. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. It's got some overalls. I'm going to take the top of that overall strap and just kind of make it look more like a strap, like that. Do a stop cut there and clean that up, like that. Not bad. Alright, so in the back I need that 70-degree gouge right here. And let's see, how about that for the back side of the pants? Now we're going to use a different tool. How about that gouge? It's in that kit, that Flexcut kit. I've had those kits since 1998. Man, those things just do not wear out. I don't know how that company stays in business, because their knives are so good they don't wear out. So I need to kind of give them a little bit of a rear end here. So how about we just do this? Something like that. Could go a little higher on it, actually. So you're just going to take a piece out like that. Go back with that 70-degree gouge. Kind of give them a little, oops, kind of a rear end. How about go a little bit more? Something like that. And I need this gouge again. We're going to just clean this up. If the wood starts to split, flip it. Go back lightly. Just take it out that way. Okay. Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. Clean it up. That's a little better. He's looking pretty good. 70-degree gouge again. Now we're going to detail this beard a little bit. 70 degrees, so for that you're just going to, we don't have a lot of room to do anything fancy here. So we're just going to gently go up like so. A little bit on the side like that. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Once you do the initial cut, you can kind of come around and make it a little bit longer if you want. You can even get fancy. I know in that kit, there's this little tool too, this kind of a deep gouge, narrow and deep. If you want to get fancy, you can go in between and just do a little something like that. Give the beard a little bit more texture. And for the mustache, same thing. You're just going to start at the bottom, go up, like that. Same thing, if you want it a little bit longer, you can go back and kind of deepen those up a little bit. Like so. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. Now for the eyes, you can leave it like that, or in that Flexcut kit, there's this gouge too. If you see that. But before I do that, I see a little bit here I want to clean up. I'm just going to shape this. Get that looking good. There's that darn cheek that I didn't get too good. It's not so bad. Half of it is just looking at it, going back, tightening it up a little. Okay. Now for the eye, I don't know how I can show this with some detail, but what I'm going to do, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we've got the eyes looking like this. So I'm going to take this gouge and I'm just going to put it about like this. Do a little stop cut. A little bit of pressure, not a lot. So do that to this eye. Little bit of pressure. Rock it back and forth. Get it in there like that. I'm going to take my flat gouge. This is like surgery here. I swear by the time you do this stuff, the eyes are so small you could be a surgeon. Takes a little bit of work. Use that edge again. Get in there. Making those eyes have a little bit of symmetry. Not so bad. And just kind of look at it, you know, with the light. Kind of clean the edges up. Not so bad. Okay, that's looking okay. Let me get this cheek a little bit. Making sure I got good symmetry going on. Not bad. Alright folks, that's how you do it. And just go in with some light touch on the sandpaper. I guess you could use a brush. I like the sandpaper. Get those eyes cleaned up a little bit. I like taking the edges off of what I've carved because I noticed a lot of people, they pick things up and they feel it just to see what it looks like. So I'm just going to go around this stuff and clean them up. Just going to keep going on like that. Just kind of get those little bits of wood cleaned up. Just do like this, go over the top nice and light, and you've got a carving. And there he is. Well, I got these little farmer gnomes painted up. I think they turned out pretty good. Nice little detail on the top of the cap. Even managed to get the eyes painted in. There he is. Not too bad. And I used a satin polyurethane on the top, water-based polyurethane, which has a UV protector in it, so they'll never fade. Of course, don't forget to sign them on the bottom when you're done. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you next time.